Varsity Media is the tri-state area's leader in sports media production. We specialize in live streaming.
Gargiulo over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete. And Ciolino. See you later. Touchdown, Massapequa.
Videography. And photography. Covering all sports at all levels. We feature aerial photography and videography, college recruiting videos, live streaming of games.
Top of the key, Smith. Why not? Wow. Bang! McKee, first down and more! Charlie McKee! Touchdown, Oceanside!
School events, graduations. Varsity Media is available to cover a game, a tournament, a season, or any special event.
Talk to us a little bit about what went through your mind, how you prepared for that to run such a fast speed.
Currently, spectators are limited at events. Let Varsity Media bring the event to your fans. Contact Varsity Media today for more information. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
It's a Gold Coast showdown in Conference 4. Will Spare, as well as Ben Bruno, hoping to lead the upset-minded Seahawks today, but they've got their hands full against Phil Larosa and the top-seeded North Shore Vikings. The undefeated Vikings against Cold Spring Harbor, 1 versus 4. We've got it for you here live on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler here with Ben Turchin. It's 1 versus 4, but this should be a close game. Again, these are two teams they met during the season. It was the closest game that North Shore had played this year, but we do have some breaking news to talk about here as it pertains to those guys in white. Some COVID protocol situations. Worst time of the year for this to happen for them, so they're going to be down a few significant players here this afternoon.
Absolutely, Dylan. It's heartbreaking to come on the air and tell you this news, but Nick Visconti will not be playing, and if you're a Cold Spring Harbor fan, you know that Nick Visconti is the starting quarterback and had a great year. C.J. Riley, who would have been the backup quarterback, who's been excelling, Dylan, at wide receiver, he's also out. You said it right, COVID protocols, that's about as much as we can say. There's a couple of other Cold Spring Harbor players that won't be here today, and they'll just have to make the best of what they have.
The guy who is here, though, he'll be at quarterback today is Will Spare. And again, you can see his numbers down there, an all-county player, 21 receptions, 434 yards. He's very much the guy that we were looking for before the start of the game, and he's even more so the guy here for Cold Spring today. When we look at North Shore, of course, they are a balanced team. They're a physical team, and they are very much led by number 21, Phil Larosa. He is an absolute stud. Another all-county player. There you see him leading the charge for the Vikings coming on the field. Larosa has been spectacular this year. 700 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns, a 2-year starter. He impacts the game in a big way on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he's one of the best players in Nassau County, and they are going to feed him the rock a lot today. So Cold Spring Harbor, if they are going to come here to North Shore and win, they have to stop 21.
Beautiful day here. We have the playing of our national anthem by the North Shore Band.
Directed by Brandon Bromsey.
Great job by the band here at North Shore High School and Cold Spring Harbor. Again, coming in 5-1 this year, the 4 seed. They are coached by John Madreski. There you see him there with the brace. 5th-year head coach out of Sachem. That's when it was just Sachem, by the way, not Sachem North or East. 1994 graduate. There you see it. I started coaching football with Dennis Bond in 2008. They worked together in the math office, was an assistant coach, and here he is now, head coach of Cold Spring Harbor. And for North Shore, you know him well. Certainly, if you are around these parts, Dan Agavino, in his 19th season, a 1991 grad of MacArthur High School, spent 6 years as the defensive coordinator there. Also played center and DT. You know it. He looks like it, right? He's going to be in the trenches, it looks like, right today. But there's Dan Anavigo, the head coach of North Shore. And we could talk some keys here as well for Cold Spring Harbor when we spoke to Madreski and just kind of talking about the important things for them to do as we have the coin toss here. As he said, we've got to match North Shore's physicality. That's one of the biggest keys coming in. He liked, and this is before, unfortunately, the COVID protocol, he said he liked the matchup that they had skill-wise, but the guys up front have to play physical. He said they play downhill, they play hard. If we're going to last in the fourth quarter, we have to match them physically.
Yeah, and talking to Coach Madreski on the field just before the game, they're going to change their offense a little bit, Dylan. They're not going to be in an I formation, which they like to do with Bruno as the tailback. You're going to see a spread offense today, and I think that might be a little bit different. I don't know. I mean, North Shore didn't prepare for that. So does that strike them off guard a little bit? Is that something that will be a factor? We're going to have to keep an eye on that.
And when we spoke to Agavino, he mentioned keys as needing to limit mistakes. They have to play a balanced overall football game, and most importantly, he said, they've got to do the small things and play their game. Football, as Agostino said, is a game of inches, and every inch today matters. So just about set to go here. Conference 4 semifinals. The winner takes on either Seaford or Wantagh. They kick off in an hour's time, so we won't be able to know the result there. Obviously, by the time we're done, they will, though. They'll know who they're going to face. If it's North Shore, game's right back here in a week's time. Cold Spring, we know, will not be home as the 4 seed, so they'll either have to go to Seaford or Wantagh if they pull the upset here today.
Before we get going, I just want to thank Don Lang, the athletic director here for North Shore, for having us. Michael Bongino, the athletic director for Cold Spring Harbor. Both of them made this broadcast happen today, so we thank both schools, and we're really looking forward to this afternoon.
Yeah, it should be a fun one, certainly. And, again, Conference 4, these two teams met up in Week 4. North Shore, a 26-14 win. That was at Cold Spring Harbor. Larosa, 3 touchdowns, 19 carries, 135 yards that game. Rhys Ramos, a key block on a punt attempt. Also led the way for a late score for North Shore. Spare, a 10-yard touchdown, an interception as well. Riley, who isn't here, had an interception. And Bruno, a 3-yard touchdown as well for Cold Spring Harbor. Cold Spring kicking the ball off, so North Shore will receive. And here we go. The Conference 4 semifinals are underway, and a good opening kick right through the back of the end zone. So it's a touchback, and North Shore will get started on offense. And there you see Dan Quigley, the starting quarterback, number 16, a junior, 6 foot, 179, a great percentage on the year, 27 of 32, 314 yards, 5 touchdowns, that dual threat as well, 41 carries for 409 yards, an all-county selection this year.
Going back to that kickoff, by the way, booted through the end zone. That was beyond impressive by Hunter Gagne.
So Quigley hands off to Larosa, and Cold Spring Harbor meets him in the backfield.
Jesse Rogers, 82, up to the challenge today. You know, Coach Madreski and this Cold Spring Harbor staff challenged this unit and said, hey, we got to step up today. We're going to need you guys. And that was a big-time play right off the bat.
Yeah, and a 5-yard loss at that. And, you know, look, we know it's going to Larosa. It did, and he got hit for a loss. Man in motion. is Aiden Laporin. He's now set up left. Another man in motion as well. Handoff goes to Will Feldman, and he is stopped as well. Let's take a look at the North Shore starting offense. We mentioned Quigley a moment ago at QB. There you have Larosa, Berlin, Laporin, Feldman, and the other Larosa, Nick Larosa, as well, his younger brother. Up front, Racine, Ramos, Caparella, Romano, and Godfrey.
Recognize a lot of those names. Racine, older brother,
Yeah.
great player here for North Shore.
Yeah, that was Giorgio.
Yeah.
All county here, went to Buffalo State. Lorenzo, interestingly enough, was a
It's 3rd down and 11.
water boy for this program from like grade 3 to 8. 3rd and 11 from the 19. Quigley back to pass. The lefty is intercepted at the 30-yard line.
Intercepted by number 35.
Charles Taucus.
Cold Spring Harbor takes over at the North Shore 30-yard line.
Well, you're going to see this play again. All Taucus does is play center field, waiting for the ball to come to him, reading the quarterback's eyes, and he does a fantastic job coming up with the interception. And boy, did Cold Spring Harbor ever need that for some momentum and confidence here today.
So here we go. Cold Spring Harbor, can they capitalize off the turnover? They've certainly got great field position. They are at the North Shore 30. And there you see the quarterback of the moment, Will Spare. He was originally going to line up as a wide receiver.
Number 14, William Spare.
Visconti was out. Riley was out. So here comes Spare. Expect a lot of this today. Keeper to the right side gets about 3 yards. We'll take a look now at this reworked Cold Spring Harbor starting offense. You've got Spear at quarterback, Bruno, Taucus, Kiley, as well as Schlugies, Phelan up front, McKean, Malinari, Menino, McCauley, and Panetta.
Phelan's a kid that we talked about as a lacrosse player. We saw him in the summertime.
Yes, looking forward to seeing him in the weeks.
Long
or
call.
a week.
Yeah, very soon.
2nd and 7 after that 3-yard gain by Spare. They show blitz. Spare hands off, goes to Taucus, and Taucus is going nowhere. Let's take a look at the North Shore defense. For the starting defense, here you go. Up front, you've got Pallone, Romano, Smith, Ramos, and up the linebackers, Racine, Noack, Roach, Larosa, Berlin, Feldman, and Laporin. What we didn't see here on that situation was apparently there was a fumble recovered by North Shore. So an exchange of turnovers are really at the same spot in the field, 1 yard difference.
Well, Taylor Smith, 72 for North Shore. He was the first guy in to make the tackle with some good penetration. We didn't see who came away with the fumble, but in any result, North Shore takes over again on offense.
Quigley pitches right to Larosa. Larosa's got a blocker upfield. Taucus in on the tackle, as well as a couple other Seahawks as well. He gets out to the 39-yard line.
If you're a Cold Spring Harbor fan today, you're watching from home.
Well, first we'll show you those starting defense. We didn't get a chance in that first series. Up front, Phelan, Molinari, McCauley, McKean. Kip Delaris, star basketball player, first-year football player. Taucus, Bruno as the linebackers, and then Gagne, Schlugies, Keeley, and Spare.
Yeah, Spear with the great defensive play right there.
Quigley with the keeper. He's got a first down and more. Breaks a few tackles, and he gets in to Cold Spring Harbor territory.
Well, you know this North Shore team is a physical team. They run very hard. They run right at you. Whether it's the quarterback or the running back, it doesn't matter. So Cold Spring Harbor is going to have to find a way to defend that. But going back to the play before, Will Spear, he gets told today that you're the quarterback, and he's still playing on the other side of the field making tackles. Just an unbelievable effort all the way around by both teams right now.
You like to see that from your quarterback, right? Lower the shoulder. Let's go. Quigley. Hands off. He is the keeper. Great cut inside. There goes Quigley. He's taken down at the 15-yard line.
And North Shore has an up-tempo offense right now. They've got Cold Spring Harbor a little off guard. The offensive line doing a great job blocking. And look at the cutbacks. Number 62, Patrick Godfrey laying the lumber.
Pancakes Saturday morning. or early afternoon, but that's fine. It's brunch. Larosa looked like he was going to hit for a loss. He gets hit again, bounces off of 3 tackles. Larosa's in for the score. 15-yard touchdown for Phil Larosa.
Is that not the hardest, toughest run we have seen all year long? Talk about second and third effort, not wanting to go down, and the will to get in the end zone. Phil Larosa demonstrating all of that on that touchdown run.
He goes from being hit for a loss to then getting crushed, it looked like, and then he just bounced his way in for the touchdown. A 15-yard score, Berlin for the PAT. Snap is low, and the kick is as well. No good. But let's take another look here. Look at this.
1, 2. Oh! Just a brutal hit by Max Schloggies there, and Larosa keeps on trucking.
That was like 4 guys.
Yeah. I mean, most players in Section 8 in Nassau County cannot withstand a hit like that, but Larosa can.
And the funny thing about him is he likes it. He loves the contact because he knows also he's going to lay the lumber on the other side of the ball.
Absolutely. I mean, if you weren't familiar with the brand of offense that North Shore brings to the table, you're familiar now.
So Larosa now 17 touchdowns this year, a 15-yard score. He's already over 700 yards rushing, and that's a great response there for North Shore, right? You get the turnover early, you get it right back from Cold Spring, and then there goes Larosa for the 15-yard score. A short kick, and it was fielded. That's a live ball.
Ball is loose. Cold Spring Harbor with the recovery.
And Cold Spring will recover. That was a dangerous one there. It looked like it was been bouncing out of bounds. It was played, though, right at the mark there, and nearly another turnover for Cold Spring Harbor.
Tricky play there for the receiving team because you're not sure if you should – it's a live ball. So on one hand, you're thinking, well, if it goes out of bounds, it's a penalty on the kicking team. But on the other hand, Dylan, what if it stays in bounds and North Shore comes and picks up the ball? So you got to kind of play that, I think. That's tough.
So here comes Spare now looking to respond. The question here, I guess we'll find out soon enough, is, will he throw the ball? Certainly, again, wide receiver. He was already going to be our impact player, and look at this. Right away, first down, throws it. Good-looking pass as well, out to the 45-yard line, a first down pass.
Well, I was at midfield before the game, and I was with Cold Spring Harbor watching him throw, and even Coach Mandreski was saying, wow, this kid's throwing darts. So I think Spare's ready for the challenge. We saw it on the defensive side, and we see it here with his first pass of the game.
Another look. Right over the middle, where he found Rogers for the first down, out to the 45-yard line.
Will Feldman with the tackle there for North Shore, number 22.
We got twin receivers on both sides. Bruno to the left hip. Spare. Intercepted at the 39-yard line. Berlin with the pick. Berlin, a kid recruited from the basketball team. And we could see his impact here on the gridiron as well. 6'3", 165, and Berlin, he's used to laying the ball up, and that's kind of a layup for him right there. An underthrown ball, and as easy as you like there for Berlin for the pick. He stays on North Shore. Starts from their own 39. Quigley goes right, and he is pulled down at about the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Bruno with the tackle there. But the offensive line for North Shore is winning this battle right now, Dylan. After the ball is snapped, they're getting 2-3 yards upfield every time on Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, physical. I mean, the whole team is a physical team, but certainly that physicality is led by the guys up front. Quigley again calls his own number, comes up the middle. It takes 3 Seahawks to pull him down, but he gets to the 50, which means he gets a first down.
North Shore has it working very well offensively right now, whether they go quickly. Larosa, very difficult for Cold Spring Harbor to stop this offense.
You see it again, good fake, and again, you've got to play Larosa, right? So now Quigley gets into the secondary, and look at that, 3 Cold Spring guys needed to take him down. 1st and 10 from the 49. In motion is Feldman, and that didn't work the first time. Another hit for a loss. That was Jake Rogers, number 82.
Yeah, Rogers breaking through in the backfield, and that was a much-needed defensive play for the Seahawks. Gives them a chance here now with a 2nd and long.
Yeah, Rogers, a first-year football player, good athlete, was one of the surprises for the Cold Spring Harbor coaches in the preseason. Loss of 6. Larosa tries to pick it back up, and he gets pretty much back to the line of scrimmage. So it should be a 3rd and 10 now for North Shore.
Yeah, this is a big play for the Seahawk defense right here. I don't know if it's 4-down territory or not for Dan Agavino and his ball club, but you want to see a stop here if you're the Seahawks and Coach Mandreski and force them, Dylan, into a 4th and long.
We had a good look a moment ago there with the guys up front you were mentioning. You had Daniel Romano, 77 at right guard. They thought he'd be a one-way guy, and he's worked himself into a 2-way starter. Here comes the pressure. Lobbed up for Larosa, jump ball, and he gets it.
Larosa goes up and gets the jump ball from Quigley. That's good for the 12.
Well, you talk about effort by both sides of the football, because the effort was outstanding by Charles Takis as well, going right up there, but Larosa just doing an unbelievable job of beating him to the ball. It's a 50-50 ball, and Larosa got it.
So there's that 3rd down conversion, and Larosa showing also his versatility out of the backfield and also with the catch. Quigley with the fake, breaks the first tackle, cuts inside again, and it gets inside the 30, and he's pulled down. As some tempers flare.
Yeah, you can see these two teams are not best of friends on the field here. Letting a little chippy early in the game, but you love the effort on both sides.
Ben Bruno, 20 in on the tackle.
Bruno is another traditional name at Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah.
A lot of Bruno boys.
Jacob on the team last year, older brother. There's a good look at Bruno. Was quarantined last week. Captain, good football IQ as well. We've got a timeout for North Shore.
Their first charge timeout of the half.
You know, we asked Agavino just about the outlook of his team, right, coming into the playoffs. Obviously, you know, you're pleased, but you're never satisfied until you're the county champs. And he said, look, we're definitely excited about the fact that we've been as successful as we've been. We've set a long-term goal to win a county championship, of course, like we always do. But he said the focus is more on the short-term goals that lead to wins every week. We believe, again, the small things matter, and we're sticking to that game plan.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a team that right now is undefeated. I asked Dan, have you ever had an undefeated season? He never has had an undefeated season. As many years as he's been coaching, this is his best year in terms of record. And he gets through this game, he's got himself a one-way pass to a county championship, which is either going to be Wantagh or Seaford.
Cold Spring Harbor, when we had our conversation with their coaches and, you know, talked about a takeaway, right, from the first matchup, Mandreski said, you know, we've got a nice group of kids, or Agavino's got a nice group of kids, good size, physical. They play 4 quarters versus us. Maybe we surprised them a little bit, he thought, from that first matchup. We're going to try to learn from our mistakes, he said. There was that punt block we talked about before, an interception deep in our zone. We set them up inside the 20, and you can't do that versus North Shore. Defensively, we played very well. Offensively, we didn't move the ball well enough. We have to mimic what we did on defense, tighten up on specials, and try to get a little more wiggle room, he said, on offense. And that might be even more difficult because this, again, was a conversation when he still had his 1 and 2 quarterbacks.
Right. Well, Cold Spring Harbor definitely surprised Conference 4. They had a preseason 9 seed, and here they are making it into the semifinals.
2nd and 2. Larosa trucks forward out to the 25-yard line. That's another first down for North Shore.
Tackled by number 62, Sean McCauley.
McCauley in on the
35, Charles Taucus.
tackle along with Taucus. McCauley wasn't the usual starter. That was Mikey Degnan, who is injured for Cold Spring Harbor. There's Larosa again, cuts inside, another cut, and he is taken down at the 20. About a gain of 5 for Larosa on first down.
I really like that play call on the pitch because what it does is it forces the defense to contain the edge, but Larosa is so good with that left foot buried on the ground. He cuts back the other way and picks up extra yardage. So very nice call offensively there by North Shore.
I thought you were saying me. Good call by me. 2nd and 5.
You've had many this year.
Again, man in motion. This time it goes to Quigley, a keeper. And he is stuffed at the 20 and thrown down there. Delaris with the tackle. And again, he's an interesting story, number 23 for Cold Spring Harbor. Delaris, we've seen him during the basketball season, a hoop star, right? The interesting thing here is, and it's rare, right? You're not going to see it again. We don't think, certainly, but the hoop season is before the football season this year, which means that Delaris wasn't worried about getting hurt. Great job there defensively as well. Jake Rogers again impacting the game, batting the ball down. But Ben, Delaris didn't have to worry about an injury in his primary sport coming out to football, so basketball season's over. He said, let's go.
Right. Lacrosse guys are,
that's a different story.
Waiting on bated breath, getting through this next 2 weekends, hopefully all healthy, especially this squad here, Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah.
Dennis Bond is probably watching this right now saying,
is he rooting, though? He's got to root for his guys, right?
Yeah, he's rooting for his guys, of course. I mean, he wants Cold Spring Harbor to win this game, but he also wants them to be healthy.
Yes. So 4th and 5, certainly at the 20, you're in 4-down territory, so no surprise here that the Vikings are going. Quigley spins. The pressure comes on, ducks out of a tackle, throws it, it's tipped and caught! A first down and a little bit more.
Very quickly able to get rid of the football and dump it off for number 36.
Nick Larosa with the reception.
How about the younger brother say, hey, older bro, I know you had a great catch, but what about me? I want to get some action too. Give me some love. And here it is on this play.
Cold Spring did almost everything right there, and you get the tip. And then Nick Larosa again, and he's another guy too. He's filling in for Aiden Mandel. He's actually short of the first down, so it's a turnover on downs. Cold Spring Harbor, they get the turnover, but they have got a long field here to go. They've got to go 84 yards to the house.
I feel with that catch, you should get the first down anyways, Such a good catch.
Yeah, for sure.
You should get the first.
Like style points, right? For a few more yards.
Exactly. What's a couple extra inches, right? Give him the first.
Agostino says it's a game of inches. 1st and 10 for Cold Spring Harbor. Here it comes Spare.
Yeah, and what they need right now is a long drive. Whether or not it results in points, their defense has been battle-tested. They need to milk some clock and get some of those guys that play defense a little bit of a rest.
Unfortunately a lot of the line guys are the same. Pressure comes, bouncing out of it, Spare into the secondary. He's looking a bit like Larosa there, breaking in a few tackles, get him out to the 30, a first down for Cold Spring Harbor.
Well, what high school coaches are so good at is letting their athletes be athletes and their best players shine, and right now Will Spare is getting the play calls that make him most successful, and that's what Coach John Mandreski and his staff are doing, as you see him talking to Coach right now. But, Dylan, sometimes you just got to put the ball in your best player's hands and let him do his thing.
Spare will be a two-sport athlete in college. He'll play football and lacrosse at Middlebury. Mandreski said he is a special athlete. When he's a receiver, he runs crisp routes. He gets the ball wherever it is and makes things happen, and they're going to look for him to make things happen in a big way here today. And some movement on the line at the bottom of your screen. And it looks like that will go back the other way. That false start.
That penalty will move the football back to the 25-yard line.
And that's one of those mistakes that Cold Spring Harbor talked about. They just got to limit, right? And you have the positive play on first down, and now, or to get a first down, and now you back yourself up.
Well, think about it. You've got a brand new offense sort of that you have to just work in today. It's not easy.
Figure a limited playbook, right? Here comes Spare again, and this time North Shore is ready for him. How about Andrew Nowak?
Number 72, Taylor Smith.
Yeah, Nowak, the first to greet him, doing a nice job getting low, getting pressure, and forcing the tackle, and it brings up another long play here for Cold Spring Harbor.
Nowak and Racine, they play off each other so well. Nowak, a 5'11 junior, number 64, you see him there. Big, strong in the middle, really aggressive as well. So 2nd and 16, and certainly for North Shore, you want to get Cold Spring Harbor into passing situations. Spare back to pass. Here comes the pressure. He's chased right. Spare just puts the ball down. He loses it. It flies out of his hands as he was hit.
Spare's pass is incomplete.
That'll be an incomplete pass.
Big hit there by the Vikings, number 36.
But you said you don't want to put Cold Spring. You want to put Cold Spring Harbor in a passing situation, and this is 3rd and long. As you see another look at it, that thing just comes flying out.
So 3rd and 16, the final 11 seconds of this first quarter. What will Spare do? What's the call here?
Well, I think you have to buy him some time and just see if you can get a receiver downfield. Maybe you'll get a nice catch. Maybe you'll get a pass interference.
Empty backfield. Here comes the pressure. Spare goes over the middle, goes deep, and it's a long ball. It is incomplete. Will Feldman, 22, was in coverage. The intended receiver was Schlugies, and it's going to be 4th and 16, so Cold Spring Harbor will be forced to punt deep in their territory as well.
Good idea there by Spare. Last time on the interception, he threw it a little short. This time he wanted to lead his receiver, just thrown a little too far, but the idea was there for the Seahawks.
So Nick Lavodi
is
deep,
number 2, Nick Lavodi, and number 22, Will Feldman.
as is Feldman. It's a short punt and takes a big North Shore bounce. Looks like it's out at the 32-yard line, but that'll be the final play of the first quarter. So North Shore strikes first. Larosa with the touchdown run. And that's where we are right now. 6-0 North Shore. You're watching this Conference 4 showdown right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Recovery, your first recreational physical therapy company on the market. Come on into our brand new facility for all your sport maintenance, body preservation, and daily tune-up work. Located on Main Street in Huntington. Physical therapy at its finest.
Strike up the band, North Shore, with a 6-0 lead here, start of the second quarter. Dylan Butler, Ben Turchin here, and there you see some of the festivities. You got the band here, you got the cheerleaders. It's a gorgeous afternoon out here on the North Shore of Nassau County, and a great day for a Conference 4 showdown between rivals.
We love coming here, by the way. We've been here, if you go back to 2019, we've done a bunch of lacrosse games here. And every time we come here, it seems to be beautiful weather. So.
No, that's not true.
It's not true?
No. Meg McCormick could tell you. We were here for a it might have been the boys' game. I don't know. It was freezing. It was like cold, rainy.
Really? I take it back then.
Yeah, that was once.
Well, today, anyways, it's absolutely stunning. A couple of games around Section 8 today. Of course, in Conference 4, starting at 2 o'clock, so in a half an hour is Wantagh-Seaford. What's interesting about that, obviously we have 3 quarters to go here, but Seaford was supposed to play North Shore week 1, and they did it. North Shore beat Wantagh this year, but they didn't play Seaford yet. So that's going to be interesting to see how both of these games continue on and who winds up facing each other in the championship.
What I like, too, about these semifinals, they're both kind of these, like, backyard brawls, right, where – Seaford, Wantagh, I mean, you could walk between the 2 schools. They're that close.
To start the second quarter, the Vikings will have the ball first and 10 at the Cold Spring Harbor 30.
A huddle there in the cheerleaders. Maybe they got a play going.
By the way, this is out of left field, but I was just informed that Bethpage Athletic Director John Franchi is watching right now, so we have to say hello to John. Absolutely. One of our favorites.
Tons of time for Quigley. Gets out of trouble and gets thrown down by Taucus. He's been so involved defensively, Taucus has.
Number 35, Charles Taucus, 2nd and 9.
There's a good look at Taucus on defense, and junior, 24 tackles on the year coming in, 3 for losses, an interception, a forced fumble. One of the more physical Cold Spring Harbor players. We could see that there. He's not overly big at 5'9", 190, but he gets the job done. Really well put together. 2nd and 9 from the 29. Another keeper. Quigley just puts his head down and pushes ahead to the 27-yard line.
Benjamin Keeley coming in with the tackle, number 9 for Cold Spring Harbor. I think first time we mentioned him.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, he's been a nice surprise this year. A good route runner on offense, sure hands, smart on defense, 12 tackles, a sack, 3 pass breakups, an interception as well. Had a breakout game late this year against Oyster Bay. Had a big catch, some big yak after it as well. 3rd and 7 from the 27. Low snap. Quigley looks. Pressure comes, goes over the middle, and nearly a good reception. That was Lavoti broken up by Gagne.
Well, talk about coverage. Number 5, he was right on his guy. I mean, he can't play any better defensively than Hunter Gagne just did, number 5. Look at that. I mean, no space between the ball and the receiver.
Gagne this year, 20 tackles, 4 for losses, an interception, a fumble recovery as well. Another one of these first-year seniors. Talk about Dennis Bond. That's one of his guys.
Yep.
A lacrosse player for him.
And yet another traditional name at Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah.
Wrestling family.
So 4-down territory, 4th and 7 for the Vikings. They had a gorgeous play the last time to Nick Larosa. We thought it would be good for a first down, but it wasn't. Quigley deep back. Here comes the pressure. 3 Seahawks chasing. Possibly a block from behind. Doesn't matter. He just gets out into his bench. It'll be a big loss for North Shore. They turn it over on downs.
Yeah, well, he didn't find anything, and it doesn't really cost you because it winds up being a punt anyways. So heads-up play by the quarterback in that situation. Once again, Cold Spring Harbor, they have had their opportunities defensively, and they've come up. They've come up with the stops.
Look at
Got to give
Quigley.
them credit.
He goes back a good 10 yards,
yes,
12 yards.
Yes, he does.
I mean, you kind of invite then the athletic guys up front then to chase you down.
Yeah, you do. Again, I don't think it hurts them all that much because Cold Spring Harbor is getting the ball on their 35-yard line. Obviously, you're looking for a reception there and a completion, and you want to get the first down, but I don't think it kills them that much.
Here comes Cold Spring Harbor. Can they capitalize this time? They've gotten their defense has played really well so far. Hand off to Bruno, and right away a flag.
You got to expect this will be on the offense. Maybe a false start, illegal motion, something to that effect.
We'll get the look right here.
Penalty is a false start.
A false start against the offense, so they'll get backed up 5 more yards.
To the 30-yard line.
And I think Cold Spring Harbor feels good about themselves defensively, but the question marks today is the offense.
For sure, yeah.
How will the offense respond after the news that they received this morning? And, it takes some time to gel here. So, they had an opportunity, an unfortunate fumble in the first quarter, and now they just need to get going on the offensive side of the ball.
You mentioned the unfortunate news, and they already knew that Visconti, their starting quarterback, would be out. So C.J. Riley was going to be the backup. He's out as well, which now forced, obviously, a jumble. You're also down your center, James Celestino. So a lot of juggling, especially on this side of the ball for Cold Spring Harbor.
And I know that you said they knew and that the backup quarterback was going to be in, but Nick Visconti has had a great year this year. So, you could stop right there. The fact that you lose your starting quarterback in the playoffs is tough to swallow.
How about Lorenzo Racine? Watch 52 here. Boom. Just lowers the shoulder and throws down Taucus, who is a very physical guy for Cold Spring Harbor. Racine, a stud middle linebacker, 6'1", 215. You're going to love this reference. When we spoke to Agostino, just who does you remind him of? He says Dick Butkus. He goes old school with his references. And Racine lowers the shoulder. He'll go to Nassau next year. Spare looks for options. Going nowhere. He broke the first tackle, then a handful of Vikings came in as well. Pallone, 31.
But really, Rhys Ramos, number 76, he started it all. Even though he didn't make the tackle, he allowed the rest of the defense to swarm.
Yeah, look at that on the left side, right?
That's all him. It's one of those that you don't get in the record book, right? You don't get credit for the tackle, but you made the play.
Rhys Ramos, 76, another guy, all-county player, 5'11", 245, just a sophomore. He's been a huge asset to North Shore this year. He's done a lot of work in the offseason. How about this? Here's a name for the past year for North Shore. Pat Vacchio, 2006 player for Agostino, Arena League, went to Buffalo State as well. He's been mentoring Ramos as a physical trainer, and he's kind of been a mentor as well for him. So Cold Spring Harbor backs up even more. 3rd and 22.
Yeah, and it's just very challenging when you put yourself in this situation to come up with first downs.
And here they come. Here come the Vikings. The ball over the middle. It is incomplete. A tough pass to throw up there. Feldman came up with the hit.
Yeah, Feldman doing a nice job playing center field. Timed it perfectly, as you'll see on the replay. Ball did hang up a little bit, but Feldman, perfect timing. Good effort by Cold Spring Harbor. Better effort by the Vikings.
You feel there for Schlugis. That was tough, right? The ball up in the air. He's got to go for it. He knows he's going to get crushed.
Yeah.
So 4th and 22. This will be a punt situation. Looks like it's Lavodi who is deep. He's at the North Shore 35. And Spare, why not? He does this too. Spare back to punt. Oh, and they came. He somehow got it off. And it will take a bounce right at midfield. So considering what could have happened there, that's another positive for Spare, as North Shore will take over a right out at midfield. So Spare will get a little bit of a breather. And again, these guys defensively for Cold Spring Harbor, you've got to say they've done the job. When you look at North Shore this year, 36-13 over West Hempstead, 32-14 over Carl Place Wheatley, 26-12 win at Wantagh, 26-14 Cold Spring, 42-20 over Lawrence, and 28-0. They put the points up, and to this point, you've got to give Cold Spring Harbor a lot of credit defensively for just kind of slowing down and not, other than that touchdown, not allowing the really big play.
No, I totally agree. Tough challenge today for the Seahawks, and they have met the match here on the defensive side of the football. Without a doubt, they're playing very well. I'm sure Coach Mandreski is proud of the way his team has handled this adversity today.
Quigley hoping to maybe have a response to that. He's got Feldman on his right hip. Feldman gets the handoff, pushes forward, and he gets out to about the 46. Keeley on the tackle, as well as McKean.
I mean, that touchdown looms very large right now, the way things are going offensively for Cold Spring Harbor. And it has been a defensive showdown, but all you need is one score to win the game.
Well, I thought you were going to say the missed extra point. But you're right. Cold Spring hasn't really had much going, right?
Right.
Offensively. 2nd and 8. It's a keeper. Quigley's wrapped up by Bruno and taken down.
Near side. Brought down after no gain by number 20, Ben Bruno.
Yeah, some guys here for Cold Spring Harbor just stepping up to the challenge. One of those guys is Ben Bruno, number 20, shedding blockers, getting to the football, and bringing the offensive player down. I don't know what more you can say. These efforts today are just outstanding. Look how he just sheds off a block to make the tackle.
Bruno, 21 tackles on the year coming into this game, 2 for losses and interception as well.
And Cold Spring Harbor, Dylan, they've had this way of putting North Shore into 3rd and long situations, and here we have it again.
By the way, good to see there a moment ago, Aiden Mendel in, the 6'5 senior, number 5. Quickly back to pass. Ducks under some pressure. Rolls it. Pressure still there. He's just going to put his shoulder down and try to get out to the 45-yard line. Not much there. You saw the chase first by 81, Jesse Phelan, and then the tackle made by Charles Taucus.
Defense is playing great for Cold Spring Harbor. Phelan never gave up on that play. He wasn't fooled. He contained the edge, chasing the quarterback. And even on that cut, he wasn't fooled, and that forced the tackle. And here we go, 4th and long, and actually right now North Shore's going to punt.
The punt for the Vikings, number 16, Dan Quigley.
And by the way, it
Number
is
14,
spare again.
Spare,
Deep. I think he's done everything but drive this bus here today.
Get the ice bucket ready
Seriously.
after this game for number 14.
He does field it at the 12, cuts to the other side. He's got some blockers. He's also got a flag on the play and another flag as well. Pretty sure there was a block in the back at one point and another. There's like laundry everywhere in the field.
Yeah, 3 flags right now. We don't know if else we'll take another look at this. We'll see if there's a block in the back.
Yeah, it's
yes.
coming up right there.
Yeah, there was in the middle
Here
of your
comes
screen.
another one right there.
2, yep. And
another one, 3.
Another penalty flag is down.
Officials will sort all that out. And again, you talked about it early. Cold Spring Harbor can't put themselves in situations like this on the offensive side. That was a special teams play, but they're going to be forced backwards when they need to be going the opposite direction.
So they'll take one of the blocks in the back.
Penalty is an illegal block in the back against Cold Spring Harbor.
Look how far this is going to push the Seahawks back to the 10-yard line.
And that'll move the ball all the way back to the 11-yard line.
And remember, too, you've got a backup center here for Cold Spring Harbor as well.
Right. Well, you know, you throw some things at the wall and you see what sticks right now offensively. And what can you get going here? What can you be successful at with your offense? And we'll see what Cold Spring Harbor does. I mean, they did tell us they're going to spread it out a little bit more here before the game started, and you see that right here.
Taylor Smith, that backup center on first down. They get out to about the 14.
Yeah, they spread North Shore a little wide, but then they go up the middle with Charles Taucus. Nice gain on that.
And it's 2nd and 7.
In a perfect world here, you milk this clock, you put one on the board, you go into halftime either up 1 or tied. We'll see if Cold Spring Harbor can do that.
Well, at the very least, again, I mean, there's not a lot of guys. You look at the Cold Spring Harbor sideline, there's not many guys on that sideline. So, you know, you at the very least want to keep the guys who are playing defense, maybe give them a little bit more of a break. Spare. He gets past the first one, but he doesn't get past Pallone, and Pallone hits him for a loss.
Yeah, that's the challenge here for Spare is he can make one guy miss, but after you make the first miss, here's another guy on North Shore just waiting to bring you down, and that guy was Oliver Pallone, the senior.
Yeah, he did well to avoid Nowak, but Pallone was right there waiting for him. A 3rd and 7. And remember, too, there's timeouts really for both teams, right? So North Shore could potentially, if they get a stop here, maybe call a timeout. Again, 4:22, plenty of time left in this first half. Here comes the pressure again, quickly thrown, intercepted at the 20.
That pass is intercepted.
The second of the day by David Berlin.
He returns
Unbelievable job by Berlin. I'd like to see that again to see if there was some miscommunication between the receiver and the quarterback here. Let's take another look. Again in the spread.
Just overthrown.
Yeah. So Berlin playing center field with the interception. And again, you're asking a guy who hasn't played quarterback all year to step in. He finds out today that he's going to be the quarterback.
As he was driving that bus here.
You know, doing the best you can here. Now, again, you're asking the defense to make a huge stop on the 5-yard line. And give credit to North Shore's defense. They have put Cold Spring Harbor in these positions. The defense has been outstanding.
1st and goal from the 5-yard line as we have 4 minutes. You see it on the bottom of your screen. 4 minutes left in this low-scoring but entertaining first half. Quigley. Hands off. Larosa lowers the shoulder, and he gets out to about the 2.
Tackled by number 24, Max Schwages. 2nd and goal from the 3.
Racine with a pancake block there. Second and goal from the 2. LaRosa's got the only score of the day. You've got twin receivers at the bottom of your screen. Keeper for Quigley, and he's in. 2-yard touchdown run for Quigley, and he extends North Shore's lead to 12-0.
Right up the middle there. Good blocking by the North Shore offensive line. Put in a position here, 1st and goal. It's going to be pretty easy to get in that end zone, and that's what they did. They accomplished what they needed to, and now a 2-score advantage is looming very large for the Vikings right now here with 3:14 to go in the half.
Quigley's a guy, just does not get rattled. The junior, a lefty. He's got full command of that offense, and you can see that dual threat, right? Now Berlin, that first PAT was no good. It was a low snap. They're not opting to chase that missed, and that's another low snap. Berlin, though, gets this one up, and it is good. 3:14 left in this first half. North Shore with a 13-0 lead on Cold Spring Harbor. You're watching this Conference 4 showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Spare, number 20, Ben Bruno.
So the Quigley 2-yard touchdown run, and the PAT makes it 13-0 for North Shore, and that's what I thought they should have done that first time and just let that one bounce out of bounds. You'll get the ball out at the 35-yard line for the final 3:14 of this first half.
How about these officials? They love throwing the flags here, huh? One penalty, but all the flags come out. You love that. Getting active today.
Laundry on the field.
Absolutely. On the far side, it was tough. You know, it was a hard angle for us to see. But clearly on the near side, you can tell the momentum of that football was traveling out of bounds. So the right decision that time by the Seahawks, and they benefit. And we'll see right now, is this the break that they need to start getting some things going here offensively?
I think at the very minimum, if you're Cold Spring Harbor, you need to just make sure that North Shore's offense doesn't get back on the field in this first half.
Well, the only way you accomplish that is by getting a first down.
For sure, yeah.
Moving the chains.
They got to move the football.
And they've spread North Shore out, but it hasn't been that successful. A couple of yards on the early downs, but it puts them in 3rd and long. So let's see if they do anything different than they do passing here on the first.
Well, Spare had the option or the possibility of passing. He was going nowhere.
76, Rhys Ramos.
Ramos and
Also in there, number
Pallone
91
in on the sack.
It's a loss of
Well, you just have to give a lot of credit to this North Shore defense. Look at the burst that they get right off the snap. Immediately after Spare has the ball, he's greeted by 2 defenders. He doesn't have it a second to even find an open receiver, and that speaks to the defense today by the Vikings.
He is backed up to the 24-yard line, so a loss of 11 on first down. Spare, the pressure comes again. This time it's from the left side. Spare recognizes and gets out and nearly got tackled by Agostino.
Yeah, and he did a good job.
Agavino, excuse me.
He did a good job of getting a lot of those yards back. We'll see where they spot the football. Still going to be 3rd and long here for the Seahawks.
It's out to the 28-yard line. And certainly Spare there running for his life, but he does run out of bounds, though, so it's 2:24. Kind of did North Shore a little bit of a favor there. Stop the clock. 3rd and 17. You've got twin receivers on both sides. It looks like it's Bruno to the side. Look out, Spare. Threw it, and I don't even think it was even the intended target to Taucus.
And it's 4th down.
Oh, Rhys Ramos greeted Spare, and we got to see if he's okay. Blasted after he got that football away. Ramos came with the pressure.
He is a big dude, 5'11". Again, 245 in all county selection this year. And this is perfect now if you're the Vikings, right? Because you've got a punt deep, and it's going to be Spare again to do it.
Number 14, William Spare on to punt back to receive for the Vikings.
It's amazing that Spare has.
Number 22, Will
He could just get up after that hit and be in a punting situation.
Low snap, gets it off, gets hammered as well. There is a flag here, but I don't think that's going to be of the personal foul variety. I think it's going to be a 5-yarder.
Well, if it, I mean,
Punt will be down at the
Spare
32-yard line of North Shore by number 34.
yeah, they got it. Cold Spring Harbor's got to be careful. I mean, this is your guy today, and you cannot afford to get Spare hurt.
North Shore brought the pressure, and the contact came after the punt, but again, it's more of the – it's a declined penalty. It was a running in, not a roughing.
Right.
So it would have only been a 5-yarder, and you know what? Maybe that's one of those situations they didn't even want to have to bother having him punt again.
I agree.
Just get off the field.
Exactly. After what you just saw a second ago, you cannot put your punter in a situation like that, especially when he's your quarterback and on defense. Got to keep him healthy today in this game.
Yes, Spare also a cornerback. So North Shore at 2:09 left. You've got some timeouts as well. They will start at their own 26-yard line. Some more conversations here. Do they have the right football? They do not. Here, get this one out of here.
Yeah. Interesting to see Larosa not on the field right now, being attended to on the sideline, stretching out. Not sure if it's a cramp situation or not, but you don't have 21 on the field right now.
Quigley pulls out the fake, and he's taken down well.
Quarterback keeper picks up 3 yards.
Yeah, what an effort
Tackled by number
by
16,
Aiden McKean, 60 for Cold Spring Harbor. And now he's going to leave the field shaken up after the tackle. There's
That's what you
Larosa.
mentioned it before.
Yeah.
Looks probably more
Just
like
getting
a
rest.
cramping situation.
I was going to say, getting the suntan?
And you can see at the top of your screen, that's McKean. You know, again, too, he reached out to make the tackle and maybe stretch something out. McKean, 6'2", 215, 20 and a half tackles this year, 5 for losses and interception. One of the biggest players that Cold Spring Harbor has up front, and again, you don't want to speculate, but possibly like a separated shoulder, the way that he's walking off, not putting anything on that shoulder. So we hope the best, certainly for McKean. And when you've already got losses for COVID protocol, now an injury loss, and again, a very thin bench on that other side for Cold Spring Harbor. 150 left to go in this first half. It's all North Shore, and they could really do some damage here with another score in the final 2 minutes of this first half.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, a 2-score advantage is looming really large right now. A 3-score advantage going to the locker room, that might be too much for Cold Spring Harbor to overcome. So the defense, again, tasked with stopping this Viking offense.
Lavodi on the jet sweep, gets to the outside. Lavodi into the secondary, cuts inside, still has it. Oh, and what a cut! Lavodi cannot be stopped. He's finally pulled down at the 25-yard line. Nick Lavodi is all of 5'6", 135 yards. Plays so much bigger.
Take a look at this. Call it a scat back run, if you will. He's going to break so many tackles. Cutbacks galore. How does he get through that scrum? And then just when you think you got him, nope. They're trying to pull the ball away. A couple extra yards. What a run.
Out to the 26-yard line. Lavodi, maybe again? No, it's Quigley this time. Up the middle. Gets a push as well. Still going. Finally taken down at the 17-yard line. Timeout for North Shore, and we'll take it with them as well. 1:05 left here in the first half. North Shore leads Cold Spring Harbor 13-0, threatening for more. You're watching this Nassau Conference 4 Showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Recovery, your first recreational physical therapy company on the market. Come on into our brand new facility for all your sport maintenance, body preservation, and daily tune-up work. Located on Main Street in Huntington. Physical therapy at its finest.
We welcome you back to North Shore High School. Dylan Butler, Ben Turchin here. 1:05 left in this first quarter of the first of two Nassau Conference 4 semifinals. The second game, what time do we have here? Just about starting. 2 o'clock start for Seaford and Wantagh, that backyard brawl.
Yeah, we'll be at that game, so we'll try to get updates live as we get them here for.
Well, we're not going to be there. Like, the company is going to be
Varsity Media is there. Well, we're not there, but.
I mean, we could do a lot of things here, but that's difficult.
No, we're not like hologramming in or something like that.
Off the timeout. Why not? Let's go the other way. Lavodi gets the first down and a little bit more. First and goal for North Shore.
Unbelievable running here by Lavodi, and a little storyline brewing that we're starting to pick up on as you see the run here. Jet sweep to the left side, the near side of the field, and the lanes opened up by North Shore's offensive line like the Red Sea. But Larosa has not really been in the game of late, and we have to keep an eye on that and see if he's okay.
Quigley bounces forward, and he's in to the end zone. A 6-yard touchdown run for Dan Quigley.
Quigley and company have picked up the slack here. He is the leading rusher in today's game for North Shore, and he has done one excellent job today for the Vikings at the quarterback spot, and a 3-score advantage now for the Vikings.
And again, now you got to play Lavodi, right? And Quigley goes right inside. He gets pulled down, and
nice block by David Berlin. We saw a couple interceptions by him. There you see a big block.
Here he comes trying to get the PAT as well.
Coaches love that, right? They love to see the touchdown run. They go back and look at it and say, hey, Berlin, nice job. That's when you get that, star on your helmet.
Good snap this time. The PAT is actually no good.
Kick is wide right.
Wide
No good.
right. So another point. So you just were talking all about these great things about him, and that star they were going to give it to him. They're going to take it away now.
I don't think so. When you're up 19 and you make a block to spring a touchdown, I think you keep the star on your helmet.
So you've got to be happy if you're North Shore, and you mentioned you see 21 there, Larosa. You know what? At this point, do you even need to bring him back in, right? I mean, if it
Right.
didn't seem like it was a major thing, right? I mean, he was just getting stretched out. I don't know if that was one of the guys from recovery there working on him. But look, it's a 3-score advantage. You see a little conversation there on the sideline with Romano, and so yeah, I mean, look, I know Agavino speaking to him, and look, you've got to, again, if you hold on to this lead, right, that's the big important thing. But you've got that huge game in a week's time, so. We saw that a little bit even yesterday, too, where you maybe nurse some guys. Garden City was doing that, too.
Right. Yep.
That could be one of those situations. Look, everyone's going to be banged up at this time of the year.
Yes.
Receive for Cold Spring Harbor, number 5.
Well, I mean, you hope that
And number
Larosa is okay, assuming North Shore moves on next week. Of course, we have a whole second half to play, but if that is the result, you hope he'll be okay for next week. And you're right, I agree with you. You don't need to rush him on this game right now when you're up 3 touchdowns.
A line drive kick fielded by Bruno, who runs it out to the 45-yard line.
Cold Spring Harbor. That's where they'll start. First down.
So Cold Spring Harbor will try to get something positive here, or will they just take a knee and go to halftime?
That's what I would expect them to do. I don't think you'll see the ball in the air at this point. And with not a lot of time left on the clock, it might be the prudent thing to regroup, talk to the team at halftime, and see what you can do better in half number 2.
There's the huddle spare speaking to his guys. He's not under center, and they will run this play. It's a handoff and not much of a push, maybe 2 yards there for Taucus.
Question is, does Dan Agavino want to call a timeout here?
By a maze of North Shore players.
Right now he's letting the clock go.
Ball at the 46-yard line. And look, Cold Spring's actually going to try to get another playoff here. They get it off. Pressure comes on Spear, puts the ball down. He's hit hard on a first down run, but that's the last play of the first half. So Will Spear has tried his best. He's impacted the game, or has tried to impact the game on multiple levels as an emergency starting quarterback. But it's North Shore. Defensively, it's Berlin, and then Quigley and Bruno on offense, and how about a little bit of Lavoti as well. North Shore's got the 19-0 lead on Cold Spring Harbor. We'll take a break. We'll get some first half stats and some highlights for you as well. You're watching this Nassau Conference 4 Showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We welcome you back to North Shore High School. 19-0 the score in favor of the Vikings over Cold Spring Harbor in this Nassau Conference 4 showdown. We have some first half highlights and stats for you, and it started off as many North Shore games do, with Phil Larosa impacting the game in a big way. How about this physical 15-yard touchdown run by Larosa? Takes a huge hit at about the 5, gets in 15-0 at that point, 6-0 the score with 8:15 left in the first quarter. Defensively also, North Shore getting the job done, specifically David Berlin, the junior. This the second of his 2 picks. You see it at the 20, and that will put North Shore in prime position to get in the end zone again, and they did just that. Dan Quigley with a 2-yard touchdown run. Here's Quigley with the fake, takes it himself, lowers the shoulder. That made it 13-0 for North Shore with 3:14 left in the second quarter. A big defensive stop as well gave the Vikings some great field position, and it was Quigley yet again. Fakes it to Lavoti, follows him a little bit as well, gets taken down, but inside the end zone, a 6-yard touchdown run for Quigley. That extended the lead to what you see now. It's 19-0. Here's some first half stats for you as well. And look, clearly we expected these numbers for North Shore. 176-19 rushing yards. That's 191 to 38 first downs as well. And Cold Spring has turned the ball over 3 times in this first half.
The offense for Cold Spring Harbor has been a struggle. We talked about it at the beginning. You know, they're a little undermanned today, to say the least, trying their best effort they can. On the opposite side, it's great to see, if you are Dan Agavino, that you have guys that can step up, because after we saw Nick LaRosa's run in the beginning of the game, we haven't seen too much of him. He's kind of been on the sideline. He's nursing a little bit of a back issue. Not sure if he'll come back in the second half. But other guys today, Dylan, for North Shore, has really stepped up.
So we have back-to-back days of playoff football, and we'll go to football tomorrow night, Sunday night. We've got it for you right here as Great Neck North takes on Glen Cove. I'm on the call for that, 7 o'clock. I think you're making your directorial debut, right, for Varsity Media?
Don't put too much pressure on me, please, okay?
So the opening kickoff at 7 o'clock, the Big Red.
How about their victory the other night over Floral Park? I think they put 6 in goal.
The challenge there, can they make it 7? A touchdown, right?
And Great Neck North with an upset. They went over to Southside the other day, and I think most soccer fans would have expected the Cyclones to come away, a powerhouse soccer program, and not to be. So Great Neck North with an upset.
Let's see if they have another upset tomorrow night. We're on the call for that one. Got to get some calls done for that one, right? So we got to take a quick break. About 6 minutes or so left before the start of the second half. You're watching this Nassau Conference 4 showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We welcome you back to North Shore High School. Dylan Butler, Ben Turchin. The Vikings with a 19-0 lead over the Seahawks. It's the 1-4 matchup in the Nassau Conference 4 semifinals. Seaford and Wantagh, a 2 o'clock kick there. So they are underway. We'll see if we can get you some score updates.
No score so far.
There's your first update.
I'm on it.
You got to love, certainly, what that gentleman did in the first half. If you're North Shore, Quigley at QB, he is very much that dual threat athlete. Here's his first half stats: 15 carries, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 of 5 passing for 15 yards. That's the junior southpaw, Dan Quigley.
That's so huge for this Viking offense because, as we talked about, we haven't seen much of Larosa today.
Oh, they were just there. We're getting a drink of water. They're just in our screen, 21.
Nope, and we'll have to wait and see how much Dan Agavino decides to play him in the second half with the 19-0 lead. You may want to hold him out for the championship game next week.
You wonder, too, if maybe that ailment that he had might have been just from that hit. Right?
Yes,
right on the
great point.
I mean, that went right through. That reverberated through his body.
It really did. I mean, after that touchdown, I don't think we called his name that often on carry plays, on running plays.
So here is the opening kickoff. It's a ground ball up the middle, fielded at the 35-yard line, which is where Will Spare will get going or try to get Cold Spring Harbor going. Again, if you're just joining us, Spare was originally slated to be the starting wide receiver, forced in really this morning to be the QB with Nick Visconti, the usual starter, and then the backup C.J. Riley out, both with the COVID protocol. So Spare had his struggles, certainly. There's a lot of pressure on him, but just a tremendous athlete for Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, the effort that this team has put on the field today has been really remarkable. They're not playing with 100% of their roster today, but the effort has been there.
And already North Shore brings the pressure. You saw Racine, 52, fly in. Ended up being a no gain.
We talked about it, Dylan. One of the guys missing on this Cold Spring Harbor offensive line is the starting center. And, you've been able to tell it's been a little bit of a struggle here for the offensive line for Cold Spring Harbor. And, again, it's hard to gel as it is with an offensive line, and you lose one of your starters.
Yeah, at center, they would have had James Celestino, and he's an interesting story, too, because he was one of the captains, a converted fullback. Get to that in a second. Pitch goes right to Bruno. Bruno does not break the tackle. Good-looking tackle by Nick Larosa.
It's third down.
But mentioning Celestino, again, converted fullback, right? So they kind of pulled him to the side before the start of the year, and they said, listen, we need you to maybe play center and sacrifice maybe some of the runs that you might have had. He said, I'm there for you, coach, absolutely. And he's a big loss. He also missed the first North Shore game with a stomach virus, so he was really looking forward to playing in this game, and unfortunately unable to do so. That was a no gain again. Spare now runs left, looks for Bruno for the tackle, cuts back the other side. Here he is again. LaRosa slows him down. Another cut. Spare the stiff arm. And finally brought down by 64, Andrew Nowak.
I mean, what more can you ask of your quarterback right now? The senior's trying to do everything, put the team on his back. And North Shore, they come in waves no matter what. There's always a red jersey ready to meet number 14.
So Spare, helmet off there, timeout for Cold Spring Harbor. And again, this is a guy who would have been, or he is usually your punter as well. So, I mean, you've got a 4th and 11 from the 34. A lot of discussions on that far sideline on what to do. And again, it's a roster that wasn't very large to begin with. You lose several players to COVID protocol, and that thin roster gets even thinner when you've got guys like Spare who play, 3 or 4 different positions, really.
Yeah. And you could see him. He's frustrated, and you understand. I mean, you could feel for the player. You could feel for the athlete. He like I said, he's put the whole team literally on his back. I mean, he really has. And now it's might have to be somebody else that steps up here, and whether it's Bruno or whoever it's going to be, Kylie. Cold Spring Harbor needs some guys here to get back in this game.
And there's still a lot of football left, but it is getting late early for the Seahawks. They've not been able to move the football. They've done a pretty good job defensively, but and you see again here a different punter for Cold Spring. It's Hunter Gagne who will punt. And you see Lavoti deep for North Shore, and a penalty flag is thrown. Is it too many men? Well, another penalty on the offense. Looked like they had too many guys out there.
Penalty is against Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, you see Matthew Marino trotting off the field.
29-yard line. Still 4th down. Back to receive the punt for the Vikings, number 2, Nick Lavoti.
So Lavoti will move himself up. There he is, another 5 yards.
End of first quarter in Seaford, we are scoreless.
Gagne angles his punt. He's hit.
And a flag comes out.
Yeah, that'll be likely a 5-yarder. Now Gagne is shaken up.
At the 39-yard line of Cold Spring Harbor.
Similar to the other one he was run into, but
penalty flag down.
As you see Gagne feeling the effects of that. Oh, actually, you know what? That's a personal foul.
Big break.
Penalty is a personal foul for roughing the kicker against North Shore.
So if you move those, it should still be 4th down, but it was a 4th and 16, so it's not an automatic, I don't believe, 1st down.
Well, I see Spare is coming out, and he's talking to Mindreski, so I think Cold Spring Harbor thinks it is a 1st down for them, and the official says 1st down. How about Spare? As soon as that penalty came out, he got up, put his helmet on, was ready to come back on the field. Talk about effort.
Just a warrior.
Yeah.
There he is.
I mean, you see him limping a little bit, but
feeling his hands.
Yep.
And that's where I think that was more of the injury, I think. So Spare is leaving it all out there. He's a senior. It could be his last football game. 1st and 10 from the 44. Spare will throw it. And it's a dart as well. It's complete to Ben Kiley.
Yeah, one of the names I just mentioned, guys that have to step up. And these guys have to help their quarterback. Quarterback can't do it all. Other guys on the team have to step up, give him an option, give him a window to throw. Kiley does that. Nice route, nice call by the staff there of Cold Spring Harbor. And that's a positive play, and maybe they can build on it.
And you just mentioned that's the book on him a little bit. A good route runner as well. He's got sure hands, smart, good football IQ as well. For Kiley, 7 receptions for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns for the 2-year varsity player. 2nd and 6, again, back to pass. Over the middle, it is intercepted. Another pick, the 3rd of the game, and this one is Nick Larosa. Larosa still has it, and he is gang tackled out at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it was a good effort and a good opportunity. There was a receiver there. Just better defense by North Shore. The younger Larosa steps in front for the interception. And again, you feel for this Cold Spring Harbor offense. You know, just a great defensive play there. Looking for Max Schloggies, number 24. And it's just been very difficult for Cold Spring Harbor's offense today.
So North Shore takes over on their own 42-yard line. Looking to see the numbers, and 21 still on the bench. He's got a football in his hand. But that is on the sideline. Lavoti motions again. There's that sweep. Gets a good block by Berlin. And he gets out to about the 43-yard line. Taucus again in on the tackle. He's been a force defensively. And there you see him Just stretching out a little bit.
You know he wants to play. He's got the helmet on. He's got the football in his hand. You know he'd come out on the field if the coach let him.
Let's see if he ultimately ends up like standing next to. Like, I always love to see those scenes, right? Like just in his ear. Come on, coach. Let me get in. Come on, coach. Come on, coach. 2nd and 9.
Well, you know what's going to happen at the dinner table today? It's all going to be about Nick. And he doesn't want that, you know. Yes, he has a touchdown, but Nick has an interception, and he's had a couple of runs. And
3rd and 10.
Quigley hit for a loss by Bruno.
It's going to be a very happy household today at the Larosa residence.
Well, if they hold on to this lead. Bruno, his 3rd tackle for loss on the year. Actually 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9 from the 43-yard line. And the score, this is one of those situations where the score isn't indicative, right? These guys defensively for Cold Spring have just done yeoman's work. There's the option pitch right. A crisp cut inside by Feldman. Did he lose the football? He did not, but he gets out to the 48, well short of the first down marker.
But I tell you what, I'm just thinking that whoever North Shore winds up playing, assuming they win, there's a lot of tape that Coach Agavino has put on here that opposing team is going to have to scout out. You got running backs galore here on this North Shore offense. They can go anywhere. They can go with the running back. They can go Larosa.
Well, that was his part of the conversation when I asked him the strength of his team. Certainly the physicality, we've seen that, but also the balance. Right? Yes, obviously, look, LaRose is the guy, but you could see right now how balanced they are,
Yes.
where you're not being affected by that loss right now. There's a punt, really good punt as well. Backs up Bruno. They've got to just let that one get out of the way if you're Cold Spring Harbor. Terrific punt, which backs up Cold Spring Harbor, an offensively challenged side today, even further back. And they've done well, Cold Spring Harbor, as well offensively. You know, they've kind of turned the corner late in the year. Vendreski was saying it's been a crazy year, you know, from where we started to now. He said there's been a big jump. First 2 weeks kind of helter-skelter with only that, 10-day lead up to this season. But he said, where they are now heading into the playoffs, felt the guys are starting to gel, buying in more to what they're doing. And again, you end the season. After that North Shore loss, a big response, 48-3 at Oyster Bay, and then a 30-16 win over Friends to end the regular season.
We said we'd keep you updated in the other semifinal game here in Conference 4 with 9:33 to go in the second quarter. Wantagh is on the board, extra point, no good, 6-0 Warriors.
So the winners play each other. If it's North Shore, it's right back here in a week's time. Some movement on the top of your screen.
Penalty flag is
Likely to be a full start here against Cold Spring Harbor.
And if it does wind up being North Shore Wantagh, that would be a rematch game. And kind of a little bit of a rivalry brewing there.
You've got to go
a full start against Wantagh.
all the way back to 1975 for the last and only North Shore football championship. That was back when it was like the Conference 7-8, and they defeated Cold Spring Harbor 13-6 in that title game.
And talking with Coach Dan Agavino, who's been here with North Shore for a long time, he has never had an undefeated season.
Spare, again, just under serious duress. He goes backwards. He's hurt again. And we'll actually take a quick break as well for this official's timeout. North Shore leads Cold Spring Harbor 19-0. You're watching this Nassau Conference 4 semifinal showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
McCarthy. He's got. Oh, he's in. Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside!
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay,
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
We welcome you back to North Shore High School. Dylan Butler, Ben Turchin here. Cold Spring Harbor already down several players, battling injuries in this game as well. They're down 19-0, 6:13 left in the third quarter of this Nassau Conference 4 semifinal.
Yeah, you just can't say enough great things about Will Spare. The effort that this kid has exuded today has been unbelievable. Talk about an athlete, will to win, never give up, limping off the field. That's what you have to grab him, pull him off the field in order for him not to play, and it's just been amazing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear the phrase, right, leave it all on the field, and a lot of times that's just sort of cliche or coach speak, but that certainly speaks volumes of Will Spare.
And now here yet again, Cold Spring Harbor has to rework their offense. Basically a wildcat with Bruno now.
Up the middle for number 20, Ben Bruno. No gain on the play.
So Bruno pushes forward for no gain.
I mean, think about Cold Spring Harbor for a second, folks. Whether you're a Viking fan, a Seahawk fan, you're planning all week long for this game, semifinal, playoffs, and you're told today you don't have your starting quarterback, you don't have your secondary quarterback. In the middle of the game, you lose your third-string quarterback, and now you don't have a quarterback.
It's 3rd down and 19.
3rd and 20 there, you see, on the bottom of your screen for Cold Spring Harbor. Spare also was your punter. So you lose multiple positions with him as well, starting corner on defense. Block punt in the end zone. And it goes out of the back of the end zone, so that'll be a safety for North Shore. And it looked like it was Ramos, 76. We'll see if we could get another look at that.
The punt was blocked by number 76, Rhys Ramos. And Cold Spring Harbor will have to punt.
You just said they don't have their punter.
Here's another look. Watch 76. Oh, just his left paw, right? Gets in on that. If it wasn't going to be him, Racine was right there as well.
Yep. Kind of like the idea there by Coach Bendreski on 3rd down. Catch him a little bit off guard. And, you're not preparing for a punt. Maybe he gets it away, but did not work out for Cold Spring Harbor. That's kind of been the story for them all day long today.
I think Pat Vacchio's going to like that, right? Kind of mentoring, we said before, Ramos and Vacchio, a guy, again, North Shore alum, 2006, Arena Football League, played there for a bunch of years, went to Buffalo State as well, and Ramos has become a really good football player. And the thing you like most, certainly if you are them, he's only a sophomore. So 2 more years for him. Hunter Gagne with this kick. And how ironic is that too, right? The safety now gives you those missed extra points that you had.
Right.
So it's 21-0.
Yeah. Nice kick.
Yeah, really good one by Gagne. It'll go out of bounds, but get some distance on it.
That kick will land out of bounds. Penalty flag is down.
Take this moment too to you mentioned before the ADs here, and this is our last football broadcast of this abbreviated season, and just want to thank everybody involved, everyone who's made all these broadcasts possible, all the athletic directors and superintendents and coaches as well for their time. It's been a unique season. It's been a challenging season, but we've been thrilled to kind of get back out and be back on campus and back covering these games.
Absolutely, Dylan. Everywhere we've gone, everybody has treated us so nicely, and the hospitality has been great. And for those that don't know, press box space is like New York City real estate, you know. Very protective and hard to get, and everybody's welcomed us with open arms, especially here at North Shore with Don Lang and everywhere else we've been. So we're very grateful.
How about this? He is his brother's keeper. Nick Larosa with the big run.
That's good for a Vikings first down.
Yeah, it's nice to know that North Shore has a bunch of other players that can carry the load, and one of those is the younger brother of the superstar for this team, and that is Nick Larosa with a big carry and a big gain down to the 10-yard line.
We'll take a break here with 4:45 left. Another injury for a Cold Spring Harbor player. You're watching this Conference 4 showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now is the time to promote your business on our broadcasts.
Now Farmingdale will fire and find the back of the net.
Top of the key, 4-3, good.
With viewership in the thousands, your company will get the local attention it needs. Best of all, we offer affordable rates. High school sports online audiences are growing. Take advantage by advertising with Varsity Media.
Hands off, three-point shot is up and in. You back him back 3 yards, it doesn't matter. Touchdown, Freeport.
Contact us today, 516-403-2050, varsitymedia.net.
Off the injury timeout, handoff. Larosa puts his shoulder down, and he's hit hard at the 5.
Great to see Cold Spring Harbor defense still giving you all the effort. Charles Takis, number 35, with the tackle there. Kids not giving up.
Takis has been just a beast defensively. Again, came into this game with 24 tackles, 3 for a loss. Mandreski was saying he's probably our most physical player on defense, and of course he usually is the fullback, but he's been asked to kind of carry the ball again a little bit more today. Oh, breaking the tackle. Larosa that time, though. There's that man again. Takis with the TFL.
Takis might have the tackle, but Sean McCauley, number 62, the senior, you'll see it right here. He's the first to make the play, greeting Larosa, and that allowed the rest of the Cold Spring Harbor defense to wrap up.
I mean, we've said it multiple times, I think, at this point, but so impressed just to what these short-handed Seahawks are doing defensively. You knew they were going to ball out right to the end, no matter how many injuries and missing players they have. They certainly get the mark for effort.
It's definitely a pride thing with this team. You know, if you don't know the history, the recent history anyway of Cold Spring Harbor, this is a team that has an LIC under their belt and have played in a couple of LICs.
And there they go again, the defense forcing the turnover. Lavodi was trying to get to the outside, and Bruno with the fumble recovery.
Yeah, you could see no quit here in this Cold Spring Harbor defense as we take another look.
Let's see if we could see 20 here. There's a turn. They got him first. I mean, certainly the argument can be made that he was down, but
Blake Molinari, 65 for Cold Spring Harbor, the senior, forcing that ball loose.
You mentioned that history for Cold Spring Harbor, right? 6 Nassau titles as well, 3 LICs. The last you were mentioning was 2018. They also won the LIC in 2005 and 2001.
Yeah, 18 over a very good Shoreham Wading River team. A lot of success here under Coach John Mandreski of late for the Seahawks.
So again, Bruno, Wildcat, takes the handoff, runs left. And he is
Bruno
hit
with the
by
quarterback
a
keeper brought
number.
down at the line of
I'll tell you, I was
scrimmage by number
watching
52, Lorenzo Racine.
Racine that entire time.
Also
He was
in there,
showing
number
blitz,
31, Oliver
but he
Palone.
showed it from the left side of the line,
Second and 10.
and he just got the motor where he burst it to the outside to meet Bruno there. So impressive.
A lot of great defensive players here for this Viking team. They're so physical. We talked about it all day long, and they definitely came to play today.
So no gain on the play, 2nd and 10. You know, when you get stops like you do defensively and you cause turnovers, you want kind of that payback or the payoff to come on the other side. It just has not today for Cold Spring Harbor. Run up the middle.
Run up the middle for Bruno. Good for a gain of 2 yards.
Bruno again. We mentioned before, brother Jacob played last year.
Romano.
Good football IQ for Bruno. Fast, physical, a leader on both sides of the ball. Versatile as well. Can run, can catch, he's quick. Bruno came in to this game with 69 carries for 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 2-point conversion. Also had 3 receptions for 18 yards. Bruno, another of this senior class for Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, hard to see the senior class in this situation, especially, you feel bad for Nick Visconti, the starting quarterback, not able to be out there with his team today. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow here for the Seahawks unless get a couple of breaks here.
The pitch goes to Taucus.
Near side toss to
And
number 35,
again,
Charles Taucus brought down after a gain of 2.
Taylor
Big hit
Smith,
on the fly by number
72.
52,
52,
Lorenzo
Racine in on the
And that
tackle.
brings up 4th down.
Thought 72 as well, Taylor Smith in.
And now they'll be forced to punt, and we'll see if it'll be Gagne again.
I think Lavodi wants, in the worst way, to get one to return to the house. He's bouncing back there at the 45-yard line.
Let's keep an eye on this punt because there's been a lot of penalties with the Cold Spring Harbor punting. North Shore has been called for a couple of fouls in this game. So keep your eye on this play.
4th and 3, and a good one by Gagne. Backs up Feldman, who receives it at the 40, fumbles it there, but he falls on it himself.
And great coverage by Aiden Burdo. 34, they are going for the tackle. Ball hit the carpet. Opportunity for a fumble. Burdo making sure he wrapped up for the tackle.
That's the end of the third quarter. 12 more minutes to go. North Shore with a 21-0 lead over Cold Spring Harbor in this Nassau Conference 4 showdown. You're watching it here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
Goes McCarthy. He's got up. He's in. Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside!
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage. One of many threes on the day.
Interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
And 10 from their own 42 to start the
We welcome
final
you back
quarter of play.
to North Shore High School for the 4th and final quarter in this Nassau Conference 4 showdown. Those guys, the Vikings, top seeded and undefeated, 12 minutes away from playing for a county championship.
Yep, and if you're a North Shore Viking fan and you're feeling pretty confident about this game, thinking ahead, right now about 3:29 to go in the first half. The Wantagh Warriors with a 12-8 lead out in Seaford right now. So we'll keep you posted as long as we're on the air on what that looks like. Assuming North Shore goes on to win this game, Dylan, they will host the Nassau Championship right here on this very field.
That's a great point. And that's one of the conversations that we had with Agavino. He said, look, we are super excited about having at least this game played on our field. He said they talk an awful lot here at North Shore about playing on this field. It's the same field they played at when they were kids. You know, you play football in the snow here. You run around when you were in grade school. And yes, Hofstra is a special venue, but to be able to play in the same field that you played on all your life is really special. And he wanted his team to embrace that and hope again for one more week of that. And they're 12 minutes away from doing just that.
Yeah, it's been, a tough year for everybody, but one, I guess, good thing out of that to come this year is there is no neutral site for whatever reason. You get to play. If you're the 1 seed, you keep winning. You get to play your games at home, and that is great. Sometimes you don't want to go from North Shore all the way to Suffolk County and go all the way out to Stony Brook.
Quigley, the keeper.
Quigley on the quarterback keeper picks up a yard.
It's about a yard on that. And look, I love everything that Hofstra is.
And Stony Brook, too.
And it's a great location. And it's been the home for postseason many sports, right? Lacrosse and football especially. But in the times and when you have to make these decisions, a lot of these schools were not open to outside organizations. So, I like the call there, too. Like, you're not even going to a neutral site for – like going to a Bethpage or one of the better venues, right, a Plain Edge.
Right.
Have it right here. Have it at home and give your players the chance to be crowned county champs in their backyard.
Yeah, something extra to play for this year.
Nick Larosa on the carry picks up 3 yards.
Yeah, we mentioned Hofstra. We should also mention Stony Brook. I mean, half the games are played there. Also, that stadium, Laval Stadium, is unbelievable.
Yeah, but I'm just saying when we talk about Nassau, it's Hofstra.
Well, if you win the game, you get to go.
No, but now you're talking about Long Island Championship. That's the different story.
LIC, which we won't have that this year. We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Those are two of my favorite days of the entire year. It's usually like that Friday right after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So you got people home and kids back from college and alums, and then it's that Sunday as well. And that's the end of the football season, and you love to see when it's – I love LICs in any sport, certainly. It's special with football as Lavodi, another end around. What a big block upfield. Lavodi goes. I feel like that was Feldman, 22, with a huge block ahead. Lavodi gets the first down run.
Let's give some credit to Bill Madigan, the offensive coordinator for North Shore, as we'll take another look at this. His play calls today have been so successful, putting his players in the best possible position, and another great run. The blocking has been outstanding. Bill's been on Coach Dan Agavino's staff forever, and he does such a good job.
Well, yeah, I mean, they ended up kind of being basketball fans this year, and it's worked out in a big way where they were both just in the gym, and they watched Berlin and they watched Leporian, and they said, hey, you guys are athletic. And their rationale is if you're an athlete, we could teach you football. We can't teach you being an athlete. Flag on the play, likely to be a hold, so it'll come back.
Picks up 5 yards. There's a penalty flag down.
But I joked to Agavino. I said, look, you go from being a fan at a basketball game, you get 2 recruits. He said, listen, we're always working.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We saw them during a Locust Valley North Shore game at North Shore, right as practice was beginning, and they're handing out the uniforms. And you saw after he did his little football stuff, he was right out there watching the basketball game. Just checking out his stud running back.
Quigley through 3 quarters, by the way, 16 carries for 83 yards. Lavodi's picking up his numbers as well, 4 carries for 63, that long of 44. Larosa, I guess bouncing off of tackles is in the blood.
Brought down by number 62.
They both have the same type of running style, hard-nosed and tough.
Phil Larosa, and you mentioned maybe a little sibling rivalry. This will be talked about, I think, maybe at the dinner table tonight. Phil Larosa's got, going into this quarter, 7 carries for 36 yards. Nick's got 3 for 32, so he's right there. He probably just went over his brother's numbers with that last carry.
His brother will chime back, yeah, but I only played a quarter.
Second and 21. Lavodi and Feldman up to the left. It's a keeper. And Quigley's been really good today. He gets out inside or right at the 40-yard line.
It's another great run to the outside. North Shore's been doing that all day long today. They've had a lot of success. You're going to get guards kicking out. You've got linemen, offensive tackles, everybody doing their job today for North Shore, freeing up these runs for big gains. And we got a third and about 6.
And there's been no stop as well, right, where you just saw they've got the lead. It's pretty well in hand, and you see Racine just racing up the field to provide an upfield block.
That's right.
Quigley back to pass, slings it, and the intended target was Lapora, and it was incomplete.
That's one of those deals where Quigley says, Coach, you got to let me throw it one time. I mean, I've been running, I've been successful, but come on. Let me put the ball in the air one time, Coach.
So at the 40, Quigley also the punter, and that's what it looks like he's going to do here.
On the punt for the Vikings, number 16, Dan Quigley. Back to return for Cold Spring Harbor, number 20, Ben Bruno.
Bruno is now assuming the role of Will Spare, the do-it-all guy. He is deep. You see him there. Quigley angles his punt. It's a high end over end. Takes a bounce, and it will be fielded there by Lavodi. And again, this is something that I think North Shore has done a really good job of too. It maybe goes understated, but the field position for Cold Spring Harbor really throughout. Again, they've struggled offensively, but they've been given no favors with so many of their drives kind of having to start inside their own 20.
100% correct on that, and it's difficult on an offense to begin with, but then you have that kind of field position with an offense that's trying to put something together really for the first time all year, makes it doubly difficult. And wouldn't you know it, folks, we're going to get another Spare sighting here coming back into the game at quarterback.
Checking back into the game
wow.
at quarterback for Cold Spring Harbor is number 14, William Spare.
Spare, at least by my count, it seemed like he had two different ailments. It looked like he was limping at one point. He hurt his hand, and unbelievable. Spare back out there. High snap. Spare flings it out to the right. That is complete for a good gain. Might have been 9. Did he get the first down? He's right at the first down marker. Schlagus with the reception.
And that'll be good for a Cold Spring Harbor first down.
Like, I know if you're the North Shore Vikings and you're the fans and you're watching this game, obviously you're pulling for your team to win. It is hard not to root for this Cold Spring Harbor squad today, and especially William Spare. I mean, he has been beat up and bruised today, and he continues to come back and give you effort. He's thrown interceptions, and he continues, Dylan, to come back and throw that football, and a great completion right there.
Spare, a 2-year starter, had a little bit of a taste as a sophomore, as the JV kids do during the playoffs. Spare. Oh, he couldn't even get it off. He was trying to get the ball to Taukus. But instead, Zuccarello with the sack.
Joe Zuccarello, the junior, sniffed that out. Give him credit. You know, it doesn't give up on the play. Pulls him down from behind, gets a sack.
And Roach as well. If that was pitched, Roach was all over it. It was read so well by the two of them. So a 2nd and 16 from the Cold Spring Harbor 16. Spare. Here comes Roach. Spare throws it over the middle. He's got a man, but just overthrown. What a play that would have been.
And that brings up 3rd down.
Schlagies was gone, folks. That would have been a touchdown for sure. He had beat all the defenders on that play. Overthrown a touch. Not meant to be for Cold Spring Harbor this afternoon.
You love the idea too, like, oh.
It would have been great to put that in the record book, at least the stats book, I should say. Get that touchdown here today. And we'll see. Maybe they do get one. Still got 6 minutes to play.
84-yard. That would have been 3rd and 16. Spare again under pressure, rolls to his right, throws another deep ball, and that one incomplete. Bruno, the intended target. Zeke Hurt, 15, was one of the defensive secondary. They're changing the clock to 5 minutes exactly.
Kind of like the way Cold Spring Harbor's approaching this right now. You're down 3 touchdowns. Why not air it out? Why not give yourself a chance? You never know what can go on down the field. You were very close to an 84-yard touchdown, Dylan, like you mentioned before, and just a little great defense by North Shore.
On the punt for Cold Spring Harbor, number 14, William Spare, back to receive for the Vikings, number 22.
We'll get another
new
face punting the football here for Cold Spring Harbor.
Correction on the punt for Cold Spring Harbor, number 11, Kyle O'Grady.
O'Grady to do so.
Actually, I don't think it was. I think it was Jesse Phelan. Hard to see from here. I think it was Phelan, 81.
The 33-yard line of Cold Spring Harbor.
If you notice there as well, 11, we see him there. If you notice there too, North Shore could have went in and challenged that punt, but they backed off there last minute.
Yeah.
They broke the line. They had the opportunity, but
Yep.
that's the sportsmanship for you that Agavino will bring to his guys, certainly.
You don't become one of the best coaches in Nassau County without doing it the right way. Dan Agavino, a class act, always has been. His North Shore Vikings have always been a class act, and there's something to be said to win, but win the right way, and that's exactly what you see here today with North Shore.
That's a great shot we got there as well. Those 3 guys that were in on that, impacting the game in a big way. Quigley as the first down run. That shot had what? Quigley, Berlin. There he is. And Larosa.
Yep. And the head coach.
Yes. That's your impact group.
Yeah, Larosa really wasn't needed too much today. You expect he'll be ready to go for the Nassau County Championships, which for all intents and purposes should be a week from today, right here.
We'll take a break again. We've got 4:37 left in this one. It's all North Shore. Vikings lead Cold Spring Harbor 21-0. You're watching this one on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now is the time to promote your business on our broadcasts.
Now Farmingdale will fire and find the back of the net.
Top of the key, 4-3, good.
With viewership in the thousands, your company will get the local attention it needs. Best of all, we offer affordable rates. High school sports online audiences are growing. Take advantage by advertising with Varsity Media.
Hands off, 3-point shot is up and in. You back him back 3 yards, it doesn't matter. Touchdown, Freeport.
Contact us today, 516-403-2050, varsitymedia.net.
We welcome you back to North Shore High School. Those guys, 4 minutes and 37 seconds away from a trip to the county finals. That trip is a short one. It'll be right here at North Shore should the Vikings hold on to this lead, taking on either Seaford or Wantagh. That game about an hour in.
Ryan Friend on the carry up the middle.
Run goes up.
2 yards. He'll be marked down a yard short of the first down. 3rd and 1.
Friend with the run, the sophomore. the story inside the story a little bit are that the Larosas are tied with rushing yards right now.
You think that's why Ryan Front has started carrying the football? You think Agavino knows that?
Playing now for the Vikings, number 14, Peter Leota.
Good hand here as well for Peter Leota. 14, there you see him.
Leota's on the JV team, and now coming up getting an opportunity.
Well, we saw that yesterday with Garden City, right, where you brought us up some of those really good JV kids. And I love Ettinger, too. He was like, I'm not sure if they're going to play. Well, okay, they all played. Bruno with the tackle on the keeper by Leota.
Like the wheels there by number 14, and like the fact that, he's not scared. His first carry, first opportunity on the varsity in a semifinal situation. He's like, Coach, I got this.
First down run.
Moving the chains.
What's your latest update from?
Our latest update at halftime from Seaford. Wantagh has the halftime lead, 12-8. So we haven't had any scoring since our last update. Close game, though.
Yes. Their handoff goes left.
Far side handoff for number 42, Ryan Freund.
Freund not going too far.
So I've come up with the tiebreaker for the Larosas at the household because obviously we're going to end this at 36 yards apiece. I think that's where they're at. Obviously, Nick's going to say, well, do you have any interceptions today? And Phil has none.
I think going to say it's going to be like who's going to eat more meatballs or something.
Well, you could go that route too. But you're going to get the interception is going to come into effect here.
I think the older brother always wins the tiebreaker.
I would agree with that. As an older brother myself, I would agree with that.
See the time winding down. We mentioned before, 1975, North Shore defeated Cold Spring Harbor to win the Nassau Conference 7-8 championship. That's the one and only football county championship. When you drive here onto this picturesque campus, you see all the championship banners and county titles for the various sports here. Just the one right now for North Shore on the gridiron.
And, of course, they're hoping to add a second to that wall. Have to wait one more week for that. It's interesting to note here, based on who wins that game down at Seaford, that Seaford was supposed to be North Shore's opponent week 1, and they didn't wind up playing because of COVID protocols. And usually, Coach Perpal has been around forever. Everybody knows him, and he does such a great job at Seaford. Usually, the first time around, he may not play you the best, but the second time around, he gets the better of you. And if they wind up playing Seaford, we don't know yet, and we may not know by the time we get off the air, but that will be a very interesting game next week.
Talkus not stopping. A tackle for a loss. And again, you love to see this too, right, where you want your guys, you preach to your guys about playing 4 quarters, and Talkus is certainly doing that. He's a junior. You mentioned those seniors. He's a guy who will be back in the fall.
Well, I don't think you have trouble getting Cold Spring Harbor ready because this is it for them. I mean, That's it. This is going to be the last minute of their football season, so you know they're going to play to the final whistle. And, again, whether you're a Viking fan or Seahawk fan, you really got to tip the cap to the effort that Cold Spring Harbor gave you here today. We talked about it from the beginning of the game, the storyline coming in. They were not at 100%. They don't have their full squad here today, and they battled as best as they could.
So they'll try to get the clock down as far as possible, North Shore. There's the timeout with 29 seconds, and Agavino, what a job that he's done. You mentioned the sort of pecking order in Nassau Conference 4, and look, for many years, you just talked about Seaford, right?
Yep.
It's been Seaford, and Wantagh comes down. They were such a force in 3. Now you're like, whoa, now they're going to be the team. And these guys, number 1, they're 6-0, and they deserve the right certainly to be in the championship game and have it home. They've done the effort to this point, and they've got to get another big effort next Saturday to get that elusive championship.
And absolutely right on North Shore. And Dan will play you whether you're in Conference 3 or 4. He will play. He doesn't care what conference he's in. he's always going to give a great effort. North Shore always does. Cold Spring Harbor will be back. I mean, you talked about Seaford and how successful they always are. But Cold Spring Harbor's kind of been the new kid on the block in Conference 4 of late, the past 5 years. They have made the playoffs, I think, the past 3 or 4 years in a row.
Well, they were in the championship, right? That was Seaford and Cold Spring Harbor last year.
Correct. Seaford got the betterment, and that is my point, because during that year in 2019, Cold Spring Harbor beat them, I think, 42-0 regular season. Seaford got the better of them in the playoffs.
How about at the bottom or the top there we were just watching, a Berlin and Spare.
And that's the end of the game.
Spare's getting a greeting from just about everybody on that North Shore squad for his effort. That's the final few seconds taking off. North Shore celebrate a 21-0 win. They improved to 7-0 on the season. Cold Spring Harbor's season ends with their second loss, and as we saw yesterday with Sewanaka and Garden City, both losses to the undefeated team at top, where Sewanaka lost to Garden City and Cold Spring Harbor here losing to North Shore. So again, in a week's time, it'll be these guys looking for that elusive championship. It's been since 1975. Those guys weren't even close to being born at that point to try to win a county championship. They'll play either Seaford or Wantagh right here next time, or next week, I should say, on Saturday. This is our last football broadcast, but we're not done with this fall-spring season. We've got another one here for you tomorrow night. We go to the soccer pitch, and it's Great Neck North against Glen Cove. Sunday night, under the lights, 7 o'clock is the opening kickoff for that one. Great Neck and Glen Cove. You can watch it right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Final thoughts on this one, Ben?
Congratulations to North Shore and the Vikings and Coach Dan Agavino and his staff. They get one more game here of the 2021 fall season, if you will. And again, to Cold Spring Harbor, Coach Mandreski and his staff and their team, they played as well as they could have, gave tremendous effort today. William Spare showed us how it's done. Never give up. Very inspirational performance today by the Cold Spring Harbor Seahawks.
So that just about does it here from North Shore High School. Those guys will go into the end zone one last time before they reconvene for the championship game in a week's time. So again, your final score, North Shore 21, Cold Spring Harbor 0 for our whole crew here. Larry Koritny, as well as Ron Pierre, Ben Turchin, and my brother from another mother, Brian Butler, directing this broadcast. Dylan Butler here, thanking you again for joining us, and we will see you soon on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.